Hey there, and welcome back to another video. This video is in the continuation of my series called How to Create a Digital Marketing Proposal. So if you haven't watched the previous two parts, the links are in the description. Go ahead and watch them, but first, watch this video. In this video, we will be discussing how to actually present the digital marketing proposal and media plan to the client. So let's get started. In this video, I will be covering two topics. One, common mistakes that people actually make while sharing the proposal and media plan with the clients, which affect their closure rate, that is closing the deal with the client. And second, what are my tactics to share the proposal slash media plan with the client so that it improves my chances of closing the deal. So let's get started with the first question. So the first common mistake that people make while sending the digital marketing proposal is that they send a general proposal to each client. The worst practice that you can do. Never send a general proposal to every client. The proposal needs to be modified and created for the purpose that suits the client's requirements. Not every general template out there is gonna be suitable for the client. Every client has different requirements. So we need to modify the proposal based on the client's requirements so that it makes sense for him or her. The second common mistake that people do while sharing the proposal is that they try to reveal the pricing during the first call that they make with the client. Never ever reveal your pricing during the first call, even if the client exists. Almost every client in the world, majority of the times, would like to understand the pricing that you might quote them, so that so that they can uh, analyze whether you're gonna fit their budget or not. But we don't want to make that mistake. First, we want to understand the client's requirements on the first call. No matter how hard the client tries and says that, hey, what is your pricing? How much are you going to charge? Try to avoid it by saying things like, hey, I need to first, understand your requirements, do some initial research and come up with a plan of action, and basis on that I will be able to give you a pricing that might work for both of us, right? This way, you will actually buy yourself some time and try to understand whether this is a client that you really want to work with, whether this is a client that fits your ideal client profile, that, hey, yeah, if I'm going to work with this client, it's going to be profitable for me or not. That is what the ideal client profile is. Uh, so that's important. The very first call that you have with a potential client, the important part is to understand the client's requirements, number one, and the second part is to understand whether this client is gonna be your ideal fits your ideal client profile or not. And if the answer to the second question is no, then it is better to just drop off that client. And if the answer to the second question is yes, that is that this client is my ideal client profile, then go ahead and first do the research based on the client's requirements, come up with a plan of action, use that plan of action and turn it into a digital marketing proposal and media plan, and then share it with a client. And I will show you exactly in the next part of this video the trick to how to actually share the media plan and proposal with the client. You don't want to send them as an email. That is the worst mistake that you can make, because that will end up affecting your closure rate. So stay tuned and we're going to jump to the next part of this video. All right, so time to cover the most exciting part of the video. That is, what is my strategy when it comes to sharing the proposal and media plan with the client. And this strategy I have experimented quite a lot in the past, and it has actually proven me to help and improve my closure rates for the client. That is basically sealing the deal with the particular client and getting me additional clients on a monthly basis. All right. So the first process that I follow after I finish building up the proposal and media plan is that I go ahead and ask the client to schedule a 30 minutes call with me, either on Google Meets or Zoom. And the reason why I request for a 30 minutes call is to basically walk the client through the various slides that I have created in the proposal, and of course the media plan that I have created, so that I can explain him that why exactly I have created this plan of action and what sort of results we can expect if it works properly. If I'm going to just directly send the media plan and proposal after creating it to the client, send the plan via email, the client will never be able to understand your plan of action and the logics that you have put in building the plan. And the reason behind that is because the client doesn't understand digital marketing. They lack technical knowledge to understand, what is Google Ads, what is SEO, what is Facebook ads. Yeah, in some scenario they might have a bit of a knowledge, but then they never have an advanced level knowledge to actually make them understand your mind that, hey, if you're suggesting them to spend this much in Google Ads, then why are you suggesting them this much? Or if you're suggesting them to, target these keywords on SEO, then why are you, suggesting these for XYZ reason, right? They are never going to understand that. And what's going to happen is, like, if you email the client the proposal and media plan, most of the time they will just jump to the pricing section of the thing because they don't have time to go through the entire proposal, no matter how small or big it is. They're just going to look at the pricing, compare it with the other vendors that they have got the pricing from, other digital marketing specialists or marketing specialists, and try to find one which fits their budget, right? We don't want to make that happen, right? We don't want to reveal the pricing as soon as possible. We want to wait and let the client understand our plan of action. And once we understand that, okay, me and client are on the same page, then it's the right time to actually reveal the pricing. And we're going to cover that exactly in the next upcoming seconds. So stay tuned. Now, coming back to the call part. So another advantage of asking a client to come up on a call and discuss the proposal and media plan is that it becomes very easy for you also, or for me also, to actually make the client understand the proposal, right? Because I can share my screen, I can walk through the client one by one through all the slides that are mentioned in the proposal, and I can walk him or her through the media plan that I have created, exactly showcasing, if you're going to spend X amount of money, then what sort of reach, what sort of clicks, what sort of website traffic, what sort of conversions we can expect from this amount of money that we're going to spend in our digital marketing efforts. Now, let's understand some tricks that you can try while the client is on the call. The tricks, by tricks, I basically means that some presentation things that you can try out to make the client understand easily about your plan of action. So once you get the client on the call and you're walking him or her through your proposal and media plan, also add a part where you actually open up one of your other accounts where you have followed exactly the same plan of action and show the client the type of result that you have generated for that other client. This will not only boost the confidence of the new client in your ability to generate results, but also, he will have more like faith in your plan of action and see that, okay, this person has already tried it before and there's possibility that it also might work in my scenario. But the one catch with this is that, marketing is changing so quickly that what once used to work 3 months ago might not even no longer work. So you need to always, give some sort of a caution to the client that, hey, marketing keeps on changing. We might not get exactly the same results, but my strategy is always to make sure that I implement the latest trending things that are happening in the marketing and try to use that to bring in results, right? So this is the caution that you can give to that person. And this way, the person is not going to have confidence in you that, okay, this guy knows what he is doing, because you are showing some other person's account where you followed a similar strategy and it worked for them. Second, he's going to have faith in your plan of action now, because now whatever logics that you have shared with him or her about your plan actually starts making more sense to him when he sees someone else's account. And three, you're being completely transparent with him or her and giving them another boost of confidence, saying that, okay, this person is pretty straightforward. He or she is not hiding anything from me. Seems like a decent person to work with, right? This will automatically improve your chances of closing the deal more and more, because you're going to stand out from the crowd, because a lot of people don't follow this thing. They try to hide stuff from the client. They don't stay complete transparent about their plan of action. They try to hide results of other clients for some reason. I don't know why, because of which a lot of people think that marketers just hide information. They're not complete transparent, but the scenario is changing. I believe in complete transparency. I believe in having a long lasting relationship with the client, and that's why I stay transparent with the client from day one. All right. Now let's jump into after we have finished, what to do after we have finished explaining the entire proposal and the media plan. Once you have finished explaining the proposal and media plan to the client, and the client has also finished asking his or her questions, you need to see whether the client is on the same page as you or not. If he or she is on the same page and feels satisfied with your plan of action, then this is the sweet time to reveal the pricing slide of the proposal. This is the right time when you go ahead and reveal the pricing slide and tell the client that, hey, this is what I feel like we will be comfortable in executing this plan of action and will be a win-win for us. Now, we humans being human, I have never seen any human, agreeing to the first price that they see. So you need to get ready for the negotiations, because this is the time where the client is gonna say that, okay, we gotta negotiate, or I will get back to you after discussing with my team or peers, whatever can be the XY reason. So you need to be very careful as to what pricing you reveal at this time, right? Because you don't want to end up closing the client at a very low cost as well, and you don't want to make loss on the deal as well, right? So there's also a trick as to what pricing you should reveal at the time of the this presentation on the call, and what price you should choose or should not go below once the client comes into that negotiation stage, and yada yada yada. Now a lot of time the client might not close the deal on the same call. They're probably going to say that, hey, let me get back to my team, discuss the pricing with them and XYZ, right? So they're going to come back or call you some other day or something like that. So like, I have seen very rare cases where the client actually start negotiating during this call. So they're probably going to negotiate after the call on probably another call, which is going to be either a normal phone call or maybe Zoom call or whatever call they want to have. But they're not going to do the negotiation most of the time on the presentation call, right? So now let's understand what sort of pricing you should uh, reveal in your proposal slide, and what should be the pricing that you should not go below when closing the final deal or while negotiating with the client. So, all right. So while choosing the code for your slide, you need to think of two codes, not one. So one is going to be the maximum profitable code, and the second is going to be the minimum profitable code. Now, what exactly do I mean by profitable code? A profitable code basically means a price where you make some profit from that particular service or product, right? That is what a profitable code is. That is, after deducting all your expenses, there is still some room for profits left when you sell that particular service or product. For example, I'm quoting the client $500 for my service, or my product costs $500. And out of those $500, my cost of like my operational cost or my producing cost is somewhere around $300. So 500 minus 300 leaves me with 200. Now 200 is my profit that I make on the sale of on the sale of that particular service or product. So this is what a profitable code means. And while coming up with a code for a particular client, we need to come up with two codes. That is basically the maximum profitable code and the minimum profitable code, and I will explain exactly what they mean. So maximum profitable code basically means the maximum amount of profit that you want to make on a particular deal, right? That's what maximum profitable code implies, right? And minimum profitable code, on the other hand, basically means the minimum amount of the minimum amount of profit, that you want to make on that client. For example, let's say I take back the $500 example. Let's say I want to make a $200 profit. My operational cost is $300 for executing this plan of action, but I want to make a $200 profit on this particular client. At what I feel like. So my maximum profitable code is going to be 500. Let's say I know that the client is not going to agree on the first price, and I want to say that, okay, I still want to make $100 on this particular on this deal, right? So I'm going to just, my minimum profitable code is going to be 400, right? So once we decide both the maximum and the minimum profitable code, the trick is to try to close the client between the minimum of between the middle of these price ranges. So let's say on your presentation slide, you go ahead and quote the client that, hey, for my Google Ads services or whatever services you have mentioned, I'm going to charge you $500 plus tax, whatever your country law is, right? So $500 you're going to quote during the slide. The client is going to come back and say that, okay, 500 is not comfortable with us. We are comfortable somewhere around 510, or sorry, not 510, but let's say 400 or 410. The client is always going to try to go with the lowest pricing, but you got to descend the pricing from highest to lower. If the client says 410, you say that might not work for me, right? Let's go ahead. Maybe what about 460? 460 is something good. The client says that, okay, 460 is too high. you go till 400, right? Or not 400, but let's say you the second price that you get is like 440. The client says that okay, try to convince him to close around 440 or something. You got to do some negotiation skills, right? You cannot let the client win in pricing. You have to earn some profits and some decent amount of profits on whatever sale you are doing. So you got to work on that those negotiation skills and try to close the client somewhere between 40 to 60 range. Let's say if I have quoted the client 500, between 500 and 400 is my range, maximum and minimum profitable quote. Try to close the client somewhere between $460 or $440, so that you still get some extra profit made out of on the client. Extra profit is something that we all love, and extra profit is something above the minimum profit that we want to make, right? So that's how you try to negotiate with the client. Now, negotiation is in itself an art, and it actually comes by practicing, practicing, and practicing. uh, but client also understands, because we are at a stage with the client where the client is satisfied with us, they have faith in our plan, and they feel that we are completely transparent. So your chances of closing the client is way, way higher. And because the client trusts you, a relationship has been built on the basis of trust and transparency. The client will definitely agree on second or the third negotiation, and they would probably agree somewhere between 440 to $460 of your services, right? So the final thing about this thing is to basically, the negotiation part comes with practice. There is no clear, rules like I have showed for creating the proposal and media plan. So negotiation is all you got to do, have faith in yourself that, okay, this client have faith in me. I'm sure that he will definitely agree in one of the prices that I'm quoting. Never go for the minimum quote. Always try to sell between the extra profit margins, right? And one word of caution, don't get too greedy, right? Don't create like an unrealistic maximum profitable code. You got to be realistic, right? You got to be go with the marketing standards or marketing pricing out there. Let's say in the marketing, the average price around Google Ad service is $500. You don't want to go and quote for $700. Like, you need to justify your pricing as well as to why you are quoting that much. And giving unreasonable pricing just because you're greedy is always going to be a disadvantage for us. So you need to be very careful when you're pricing, because pricing is a sensitive matter. All right, awesome guys, I hope this video helps you out in any way. I hope you understand how to present the media plan and proposal to the client. And if you haven't watched the previous videos in the series, go ahead and watch them. But for today, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button and press that subscribe button so that you can get my future videos, and see you in the next one.